Well, here we are, 42 years later, and I started off as a I think some of our favourite projects for all the guys who were here when we made a racing car, a Formula One racing car for Red Bull, and I think that's probably one of the things we all remember still. It's one of those projects that stick in the back of your mind. Well, one, because it's such a big company and celebrities that you're dealing with, but also we're all car nuts. All blokes are car nuts, and so it was a great thing to do. And we built this car for Sony and Red Bull, and it was 4.7 metres long, and we had to cut a bit of our workshop out to get it out of the building once we built it all. It was quite on a time scale, really. We had 5 weeks to build this model from start to finish, and we couldn't afford to miss the deadline. We managed to do it. We worked 7 in the morning to 11 at night. But then we put it in one of their bays where they have the real racing cars, and people were walking past and saying, "What's that? What car's that one? We haven't seen that one before." But they didn't realise it was only a model. Now that's the illusion that model makers like to create. Yeah. That you make something that people think it's the real thing. That's
that attention to detail.
Yeah, that's quite a buzz. When somebody says, "Oh, it's real." No, it's a model. So that's something that's really nice to do. Yeah, so I really enjoyed it working with Nick Chubb on a project called MCAM. It was great. It was really, really. I'm going to show you some pictures or some of the items that we machined. This is the thing that we were making, and it goes together like this, and you can see the fit. It's snap. It's perfect. We made a load of them. When I say a load, sort of like 10. But for me, it was great because I had all the sort of like machining strategies to think about. This surface here had to be perfect, absolutely perfect, and look lovely because it's just gently gradient into different shapes and form and stuff like that. But making sure you machine that really well, and as you can see, nothing's happened to that. That's straight off the machine. It's lovely to see it. They get anodized and they get anodized black, and they do look smashing when they're done. But it's also nice to see them in the raw form, before they get anodized.
Absolutely.
The more you do it, the easier it comes. So youngsters, don't give up. That's what I'm going to say to you. Don't give up. Follow your heart, follow your dream. If you're passionate about it and you love doing it, see, I love helping people. This is about what I like doing. This is what gives me the buzz. I like to think that we make a difference to people's lives, I might save someone's life by making something with one of the engineers. We could save someone's life. That is a wonderful thing to be able to do. And I'd say that youngsters joining today, it's going to be a long journey. It is a long journey, but you'll have a job for life. Yeah. You'll be doing it for life, hopefully. My favourite process is this machine behind here.
Yeah.
CNCing is I remember seeing it when I was a young man, and I just thought this is fantastic. But they let me have a look at it, but the tool makers all got to use the machine rather than the model makers. So when I came to IDC years later, I asked them about using the CNC, and they just said, if you show an aptitude towards it, we will help you learn and we will teach you. I still think it's only in model making I noticed that you have to be a jack of all trades.
Right.
If you're a tool maker, you're a tool maker. You don't do anything else. They don't cut a piece of wood. They don't cut a piece of plastic.
They
don't.
Specialism.
Yeah, that's right. And all their setups in their factory will be to do that one specific job.
Yeah.
Whereas we're not like that here. We've got loads of different disciplines to try and master and stuff and get together and understand. Whoa. 10 years, I'll be retired. 10 years.
Sit on a beach, pina colada.
Yes. I don't think it's going to change a lot from where we are today. I think the technology where we are today with CNCs, EDMs and spark eroders and stuff like that, I think they're here, and I think we've reached sort of a limit, but I think we will creep and there'll be a few better things. I mean, printers are still changing a lot. And they're still developing, but with CNCs we've gone to 5-axis, but have they gone any further? Do they need to go any further?
We've now, you can print metals.
Yeah, we can sinter, we can print metals, so I don't really see that model making is going to change that much in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
I think we've got all the tools we need to do our job.
Yeah.
Here we are, 42 years later, and I started off as a pattern maker from school. It's a 5-year apprenticeship I embarked on, which sent me to college once a week to Hackney in the East End of London, where I done coursework there, and the other 4 days I done work in the workshop, learning practical skills. Then I saw pattern making starting to die out, and I thought I better find something else to do. There's not going to be a lot of pattern making work around here, so I need to diversify. So that's when I started to become a model maker after 10 years of work. I joined an aeronautical company, and I was employed to make accurate models and moulds there for expanding foam moulds. From them, I came here to IDC, which I've been here ever since, really. So when I first started here, the guys upstairs were all on drawing boards with set squares and creating drawings and stuff. And then my job was to make the prove out, for them, and prove that their drawing is correct before we send it to a tool maker to make it. And so it's like a bit of insurance, because making expensive tools, a lot of money.
Right.
You want to make it right first time, So, and if they want to change things, the time to change them is when you're in the prototyping, really. So that's how I started here, and that's how the business was at that time. But now things have grown, and we do things differently, and I don't realise I've grown with it, if you know what I mean. I've been a part of the change, but not realising I'm a part of the change. It's just new ways of doing things, and you adapt to the new way of doing things. I think one of the biggest changes for me is to make injection moulds. I've never made injection moulds before. When I worked in this aeronautical company, I used to work next to 2 tool makers. So I used to look what they're doing all the time, but I was never a tool maker. But when I've joined IDC over the years, we started making our own injection moulds, and it's great. I love it. It's quite interesting, but mind straining, because I'm trying to learn a total new process.
Totally.
But we've managed to do it one way or another. I feel inspired by Stephen Knowles, who believes in me to make these things happen, really, and that makes a big difference. Having someone who backs you.
Yeah.
So you don't always think you can do it, but they go, yeah, you can do it, and you do it. It does happen.
Definitely.
That's nice, having that support.